Maybe you'll recognize the song we're about to play. Are we playing that? Recognize the voice? Maybe you wonder where the singer has been for a while. It's called Brand New Key. This song was a big hit back in the early 70s. Remember those days? Remember the days of flower power and psychedelic colors? Remember laugh-in, protest music? Remember the days of Woodstock? And right in the middle of it all was our guest today. Please welcome Melanie. Hi, welcome. Melanie is our guest today. Boy, just thinking about those days takes me back. I know it does you too. And you think about come back.
At the start of anything that I ever do, let me take you back.
That's right. I mean, it really jogged some cobwebs loose. I mean,
cobwebs? I mean, I'll go back, but there's not any cobwebs.
Oh, come on, we're probably close to the same age. I mean, you know, Carly Simon and Joan Baez and Joni Mitchell and this whole era of all this great music.
Well, they were older women when I was starting, you know.
You were the baby,
I was the baby.
You?
I was the flower child.
You were the baby of Woodstock, the darling of Woodstock.
Yeah. Oh, God, it was hard to live down, too.
Why?
I wasn't really a hippie. I was an oddball. And that was the difference. You see, I didn't quite fit in the little niche of the communal, let's do everything.
So you didn't live in a commune or anything?
No. Now I do. I have a family.
3 kids.
Yes. Very communal.
But you know, the older generation, you know, being an oddball and being a hippie was sort of one and the same. So
yes, it started out that way, but then there were subtle differences that were recognized by the underground press, and I wasn't exactly fondly recognized. But yeah, I was right in there.
How old were you when you got your first big break?
Well, I guess I was 18, and it was Woodstock. That was pretty big.
The biggest. How did you come to play at Woodstock anyway?
I was, my publishing company was in the same office building as some of the people who were running it. And I just very naively went down and said, I love the sound of 3 Days of Peace, Love, and Music. Can I be in that show, too? And they said, okay. I mean,
That's all there was to it?
Yeah, and I wasn't on the poster, but they said I could do it. And I was writing some music in England, and I had to fly into Woodstock to perform there. I had no idea. I mean, especially coming from a whole other country, I had no idea what I was about to fly into.
Did I hear that you didn't come with this entourage of babies? You came with your mother.
My mother was there. She drove me up, and then at one point we couldn't go any further, and so we called the people, and they said, yes, go to this motel, and we'll arrange transportation there. I went to the motel, and there before my very eyes were all the superstars of the ages. You know, Janis Joplin was hanging out, and Jimi Hendrix, and everybody in the world
Richie
was
Havens
there.
was playing.
Well, he was sort of more in my echelon of things, but, you know, I'm talking, these were major people at that time. I was relatively unknown. Along with Richie Havens, we were kind of the FM people. And
you know, I've always wanted to ask somebody who's actually been at Woodstock, since I've heard all these years that there was so much pot being smoked there that you were just high sitting in the audience.
Maybe I was. I don't know. That could be. Every once in a while, you know, I get that feeling. I don't know. But I think there was, definitely there was, but I was alone there. No, I had to leave my mother behind at the hotel because they only allowed managers and bands to fly in the helicopter, and so they said, you're not a manager, you're her mother, and you're not a band. So they left her. I was there all by myself in amongst superstars, thousands and thousands and thousands of God knows how many people, and they put me in this artist area. I had no backstage pass. The motorcycle guys who were hired to control people then kept pulling me out of the crowd, out of the artist area, putting me into the crowd.
You know, now that you look back, at the time it probably didn't feel this way, but now do you look back and go, I was part of a phenomenon?
Oh, I knew it then.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah. I had my first out-of-body experience. That's why I said it is possible that I was getting residual effects from these things that were going on. But, I never was the same.
Melanie, Connie from Zephyr Hills is on the phone, wants to talk to you. Go ahead.
Melanie, I just wanted to tell you how much we missed you. And I've got your record that's got Brand New Key, and I think it's called Living Bell on it.
Yes, that's one of my favorite songs.
And it's one of mine, too. And I played the record so much that it's warped, and I'm going to have to go out and buy a new one. But I just want to let you know that I'm glad you're back, and I appreciate seeing you on TV today.
Great.
Connie, buy a CD player, okay? You know, these days just bring up great memories, and people do sort of wonder where you've been. And before you tell us where you've been and tell us about your new cause, I do have to ask something else. Now that I have you a chance in person to ask you this. Brand New Key. Any hidden meaning there? People who were smoking all sorts of mind-altering substances said, oh, there's a deep meaning to I've got a brand new pair of roller skates, like the existential meaning of life or something.
Yep, that's what it was.
Serious.
I was experimenting with many religions and many different health approaches, and I was fasting for 27 days on nothing but water.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So that's how you wrote the song?
No,
at the end of the fast?
At the end of the fast, I was coming off the fast, and I was 3 days into breaking the fast. I think I was eating like grated cooked carrots and spoonfuls of orange juice and things, you know, just gently to introduce food back into the system. And it came to me, I had this incredible craving for a junk hamburger. And I was a vegetarian for 7 years before I went on the fast. I wanted a hamburger with French fries. I wanted the vanilla milkshake. I wanted the works. And I went and had it.
And
I wrote Brand New Key immediately following.
So all of you who thought this meant the meaning of life, the journey to spiritual happiness, it's about a hamburger.
Really?
Can you play a couple of bars for us? That's so many. That's a favorite of so many people.
I'll sing the last verse because that's the one with social commentary. I ride my bike, I roller skate, I don't drive no car. I don't go too fast, but I go pretty far. For somebody who don't drive, I've been all around the world. Some people say I done all right for a girl, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key.
Is Melanie. Go ahead.
Melanie. Is Melanie your real name? And why just one? Why just one name?
Well, I was born with three, Melanie and Safka. And when I first signed on to this record company, they just put Melanie on the album cover, and it wasn't really a conscious decision to go with one name, but that's how it worked out.
But you were going to ask where.
Where have you been?
Yeah. What are you saying? Where have you
been? It's amazing, you know, you can work 365 days a year and people will not know if you work in places like Basalt, Colorado, or Heidelberg,
we're not
Germany.
all out there.
And, you know, it's a big world. I never retired, believe it or not. But I did at one point make a very conscious decision to be a lot less visible
Wasn't that to raise a family?
I have 3 children. That is partially responsible. I did think I was going to drop them off at my mother's and then she would take over, but it didn't happen that way. Yes, I've spent a lot of time with my family, and but I do work. I never stopped working.
But were there times, you know, I've talked to athletes who leave the field and different people who leave things when they had very visible careers before. Is it a little bit of a letdown? I mean, are there times when you miss the spotlight like it was?
One time in particular, I was 9 months pregnant. I was very depressed and very down and didn't feel worth a thing. And I was in an Albertsons, and I heard on Muzak, "Look What They Done to My Song, Ma," and I just burst into tears. That was a very low point in my life. But other than that, it's been great. I love it. I love being able to go places and just be a person and
not be recognized, not be loved.
Yeah, just, I mean, I enjoy the success. I enjoy people recognizing my songs. I want my cake and I want to eat it too.
Let's take this call. Hyde in Tampa.
Hi, Melanie. How you doing? I was just curious to get your impressions on some of the renewed political activism by celebrities here in the 90s, and I was wondering, do you still consider yourself politically active?
Hmm?
Do you still, he says, in light of so much activism now, celebrities getting involved in political action, do you consider yourself a political activist?
I never considered myself a political activist, and I always said I'm not a political person. I follow my heart. I demonstrated against the Vietnam War, but I also performed for soldiers. I performed at a lot of bases, and in fact, at West Point during the Vietnam War, I was a performer. I always aligned myself with soldiers. I think because I spent 3/4 of my life on the road. I always thought, we're all troopers, you know. You have to be in hostile places sometimes where people aren't friendly, and you have to do something away from home, away from people who love you or care about you at all.
And your new song is for the current crisis in the Middle East, right?
So, yeah, when the war began, I was, like I guess everybody else, I was dazed for a few days. I couldn't come, I didn't even know what kind of, I was so mixed about what I felt. I was asked to do demonstrations against the war, but it felt so wrong to do that. I mean, I didn't align myself with anti-war demonstrations.
So this song
didn't want a war, but I was supportive of the guys and
so this is for the troops, men and women, of course.
Yes,
who are over
I
there.
wrote it to go to basically to support the troops, and then it was while the war was in progress. But the day I went to go put it on a record, it was announced that the war was over, and I changed the words, and I was never so happy that a war was over, and I was going to write this song to welcome everybody home.
Well, would you play it for us now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's going to play, and I'm going to sing with it. And
okay,
we'll see
great.
What happens.
that you may not know about Melanie. For all of you Beauty and the Beast fans, and there are a whole bunch of them still out there, I want to tell you that Melanie wrote the lyrics to the theme music for Beauty and the Beast, and though you never hear the word, she won an Emmy for it. So, you know, I love that show. I thought it was really romantic, and I love the music, too. So why did we never hear the lyrics on TV? It was a political squabble, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think they did it once or twice.
They did
Yeah.
a couple of times.
Yeah.
That shows that I didn't watch it every single week, doesn't it?
I
Oh,
didn't
how
either.
embarrassing. All right.
But they told me.
Hi, I was wondering if that was released on a record. I really like
Stand By You?
No, the theme to Beauty,
Beauty and the
Beast.
Beast? I believe it's on the Beauty and the Beast album, but I'm not singing it. But it is out on an album. The First Time I Loved Forever, that was the name of it.
I would just like to know, do you get kind of like get a kick out of it if you're walking through a mall or something and people come up to you and recognize you and say, oh, I have all your records? And
I get it. The kick is that they have all my records and that they like what I do. The part that's not such a kick is just, you know, feeling awkward about it. I mean, I best perform. I'm not that social sort of. I'm sort of on my own. I'm kind of shy. And in circus, it's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, I'm sitting up here in front of all
And
these,
she's trying to tell
and
us
I'm
she's
telling
shy.
you, but
Who
it's
believes
really
her?
true.
I don't
And
know.
when I'm
Yeah.
walking through rooms and walking through malls and stuff, the last thing I want is for somebody to,
You know, let me ask you something. I've heard some of your songs in commercial use. Look what
Yes.
they've done to my oatmeal, as I recall.
Yeah.
Is that true? You know, back in the 70s, nobody would have let you get away with that. You know, it would have been everybody back then was anti-establishment, anti-capitalism, and here you're selling your music to commercials.
Guess
How
what?
did you decide to
I
do
didn't
that?
sell that at all. This publishing company did it. In fact, I'm going to sue them. They did it without me even knowing it.
Without
no,
your knowledge.
the only commercial I ever did, and I always felt very strong about, is Fisher Price wanted to use a roller skate song for a commercial, and I said yes. In fact, I would even sing it for them because I love that toy company. And I would also probably do Haagen-Dazs ice cream if they asked me, but only because I really love both those things.
But definitely not oatmeal.
Well, I really just have a statement to make. We're from MacDill Air Force Base,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, your song does wonders for us.
Great.
We have so many friends and family members that are gone, so thank you very much.
That must
Great.
make you feel good. And on that, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Melanie is our guest today. Okay. Real quick, ask your question.
I would like to know whether you still crave hamburgers.
I didn't after that. No, I sort of got that out of my system for the time. But every once in a while, you know, I eat junk food, but not much. Mostly a health food person.
Melanie, will we be hearing more from you?
Oh, yes. Let me tell you.
Uh-huh.
I'm so glad somebody asked me this question. I'm touring. I'll be on the road for a while. I'm going to do tours this summer in Europe. I'm going to be doing some things here, some festivals and things lined up. I am going to be putting out a brand new album of songs that I wrote. It's called Precious Cargo. It's not out yet, but it will be soon. And I'm working with some local hidden talents, Howard Kleinfeld and Mike Emig. In fact, they wrote the song that put the cap on that album called
So
Undertow.
the address we saw on the screen for people to write for information is local here in the Bay Area.
Yes.
You're living here, right?
I'm
and making
a
this
Bay
your home?
Area local.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Any local concerts coming up?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm performing here, but I'm you know, working here, so probably, you know,
Yeah.
do something.
We're going to let you go.
Oh, wait, I wanted to tell you.
Okay.
And I'm on the board for, I'm on the board for the Foundation for the Love of Rock and Roll with
Oh,
Joey
yes,
G, and I've
right,
had some
right.
great
That's a
people
good
through
one.
there. And
We're going to say goodbye and let you go out with the last verse of
Yes.
Stand By Me, if you will.
Let me tell you,
Thanks for
so I
joining.
really wrote these words to welcome home the troops. I wrote it to help create any kind of atmosphere that I could to support people coming home. From your family and friends and people you never knew, with arms open and welcome, and we thank you. Oh, please.